Been a wild one today, eh? Woke up this morning to that news of this bridge falling. Wait till you see the craziness I found when I looked into that bridge. And there's way more to it than what I got to show you. But what I got to show you, it's gonna blow your mind. Something you should be used to by now if you're a regular around these parts. But before I show you all that insane, groundbreaking, revolutionizing news I found out about the bridge, who it's named after, what he's about, and who the boat that knocked this bridge down, the name of that boat, who that boat's named after, what he's about, prepare is all I can say to have your mind blown. But first I want to talk about my favorite term that the Most High uses. I've mentioned it a few times before. Lovingly committed. I want to talk about that a little bit. I mean, for one, because I love it. But for two, we've been seeing the Most High use that term a lot lately in some of the word we've been reading, haven't we? He said that the lovingly committed one has perished from the earth. He said that he delights in loving commitment. So let's look at this definition of commit real quick. Because I'm sure you will agree with me, there's not much love or commitment going around these days. And if you're someone who delights in right ruling, I'm sure you will agree with me that loving commitment needs to have a comeback. And I'll take all the help I can get. This first definition says, carry out or perpetrate a mistake, crime, or immoral act. He committed an uncharacteristic error. He committed an uncharacteristic error. I love how these definitions, if you've been paying attention, or if you haven't, if you go back through my videos, it's just amazing how on point even these examples of the words, how on point and how they go right hand in hand with what we're talking about, with what the Most High is showing us. It's like he placed these examples there for us for when we came searching and trembling over his word. We came searching his face, his truth, his righteousness. It's like he planted these things in here to, for a lot of things, to assist us, to show us his sense of humor, all kinds of stuff. But notice that first example there. He committed an uncharacteristic error. I mean, you can't get no better example for what we're talking about. To go to illustrate the message right now. Uncharacteristic error. A characteristic of the Most High and his children is they have guidelines. They have a set of instructions that they follow. And it's not an oppressive mandate or nothing like that. It's walking healthy, walking in the light of day and not in the dark of night. Avoiding stubbing your toe and falling into a ditch. It's the way everyone should walk. It's all about loving, commitment, love, doing what's right, not what's holier than thou. No, it's doing the opposite of that. We don't think we're holier than thou. We just want to do things the right way. And we understand that thinking that we're holier than thou, we understand that that's the wrong way. We don't want nothing to do with the wrong way. Our characteristics are aligned with doing things the right way. And right now, the world, it's screaming, literally, to the top of its lungs, that it is a member of the Most High's family. But they're committing an uncharacteristic error. If that's the case. If they are family, they're committing a deadly, fatal, uncharacteristic error because they're not walking according to the Torah the right way. Pledge or bind. The definitions are right on schedule 2, aren't they? Pledge or bind a person or an organization to a certain course or policy. Certain course or policy. The world is committed to something, but it's uncharacteristic for the Most High and his children, that family, the only family that will live, because they aspire, they can humble themselves and they can admit when they're wrong, and they got no problem with it. They got no problem with confessing their sins to their brethren, their brothers or sisters of the Most High, because they understand that we've been lied to. We're babies, for one. We've been lied to. We've been doing things the wrong way. We've been epic on high, and we just want to do it the right way. We want to understand. We want the correction. We don't take offense to correction when it comes from the Most High. When the Most High's word tells us that we're doing something wrong, we aren't too prideful to do a 180, repent, and try to get it right. But the world is committed to doing that uncharacteristic error, to doing what's wrong, because they've made a pledge. They've binded themselves, they think. They can't even look into the evidence, and the evidence is mounting, and it's confirming evidence. It's concrete. It's more than substantial. It's the proof. It's the smoking gun. They're unwilling to even look into any of it because they've made a pledge to support and stand with Israel. They were reluctant to commit themselves to an opinion, to another opinion. It's like when people go to the doctor, and a doctor diagnoses them with something. It's like this Kate Middleton. I was thinking that about her. Who knows what might be going on with her? But, someone could have it out for someone like that and be friends with the doctor that she sees, because it's the royal family. I'm sure they got family doctors that they insist that she see. I'm sure like Prince William said, no, see, these are our doctors. They're the best in the world because they're the royal family. So, and all it would take is for one person to want something to happen to her, to be friends with one of them doctors and say, hey, here's $5 million, diagnose her with this. And she might not have went to get a second opinion. You know, a lot of people do that. They go in and get diagnosed with something and they never go get a second opinion. They just take this doctor's word for it. They got no idea. They're actually feeling fine. I know all kinds of people who died or come down with cancer and different diseases that were feeling fine. And they went in for like a checkup and the doctor diagnosed them with cancer and then started giving them treatment. Then they turned sick and died. I've seen it happen, my own family members. So that's what's happening on the grandest of scale, and it's more than just, it's bigger than what those people went through when they died to their physical bodies. This is death of your body and your soul, your life. There are these people who've pledged their support and loyalty to ISIS Ra'el. They don't care what they do. They don't care the evidence you have. They've committed themselves, pledged themselves to it, but they refuse another opinion, to hear it. And look, if they were standing on a firm foundation, what problem would they have to look into the evidence? They're not, just by looking at it and hearing someone out, that's not them committing blasphemy or something towards the Most High. It's what he would want you to do. He wants you to try him, to test his way, to put his Torah to the test, to see if it's the right thing to do or not. He wants you to. He don't want to lead anyone on and lead them blindly and just have them commit to him just because. He wants to show you how it's how everything on the right side is, the living way, your life according to getting it right is the way to live. And anyone refusing to even look at the mounting evidence that place is the image of the beast, they're committing suicide, and it's the perfect trap, like I've been saying. Be dedicated to something. We must be committed to peace. See, is this not perfect? That's the perfect example. We must be committed to peace, to shalom. Shabbat shalom. Rest. Our rest, the rest we have on Shabbat, which puts the seal on our forehead. He said it, and it does. All you got to do is think about it. Like I was just saying, don't just take my word for it. Don't just take my word that it puts a seal on your forehead just because I'm saying, or just because the Most High says. When you observe the Shabbat, it does that. It will have you to where, if you're doing that because of the right reasons, you are committed to the Most High. But, here's the big but, the world is leaving out the biggest aspect of that peace, of that rest, and that's Yerushalayim. That's coming home. That's our complete rest. That's our rest, our peace. So we have to be dedicated. Otherwise, we're blowing smoke. All we're doing is if we don't think about our city, our inherited land, our rest, his name ain't on our foreheads, and we're creating a facade. We want, even to ourselves, I think most believers who will deny this, who refuse to go look because they're afraid, and they look at it like they're blaspheming the Most High by looking into this, but that's impossible. He wants you to know the truth. And the people that do that refuse to look into this, they can't see it themselves. They can't see how they're denying their peace, their shalom, by refusing to think about the city. And I'm going to show you here in just a minute, in the verse of the day, how it's everything the Messiah, it's what he was about. What I'm talking about is what the Messiah was talking about. And if you refuse it, you're denying, you're saying, I'm not going to do what the Messiah would do. I'm not doing what he would do. And you know, if you're a believer, that the Messiah said that if you don't do what he did, you ain't coming. You ain't going to the rest, entering the rest. That you must do the desire of the Father. It's plain and simple. So we got to be committed to it. We have to be committed to it. Otherwise, we're just talking. Do you understand that? You should be able to understand that, right? That if we don't put the actions behind the words, we're full of shit. I don't know, maybe you are not aware of that, but if we ain't walking the walk and we're just talking the talk, we're the people who are bound, marked for destruction. Pledge or set aside resources for future use, storing treasures in heaven, or in hell. Manufacturers will have to commit substantial funds to developing new engines. And that's in order to be lovingly committed. And in order to be committed to peace, to finding peace, you're going to have to be, your engine's got to be humming. Literally, and everything you do, you're going to have to turn it up a notch. And your desire to get to that rest should be evident for all of us to see. If you're sitting back warming the bench, I got bad news for you. It's not going to turn out good for you. You're headed for destruction. Be in a long-term emotional relationship with someone. She loved a man who was committed to another woman. Really? I didn't see that one coming. But down here, I understand that this message, it's fresh, like I said the other day, and because it's new, you ain't never heard it, and it goes against everything the churches and all the preachers, all the people the believers, it goes against everything they've been saying. It doesn't, but you think it does. But actually, it's the fulfillment of everything they've been saying. It's what we're supposed to do. The lovingly committed one has perished from the earth, but the Most High delights in loving commitment, and those who survive are gonna be lovingly committed ones. If you can't be lovingly committed, you are going to die. I can guarantee you that. And how that looks, I don't know. That's above my pay grade, but I know that the Most High, he's not playing around. It's beyond tested and tried for me, all his word that he's already confirmed to me thus far. So I would be a damn fool to not believe him when he says that only the lovingly committed ones are going to live. And you've been seeing all the same word I've been seeing, if you've been, if you're a regular around these parts. But the lovingly committed one has perished from the earth. So it's so bad that the world it wants to do with these bottom two definitions for the word commit. They want to do what these two bottom definitions is talking about. Send someone to be confined in a psychiatric hospital. He had been committed for treatment. And look, and the people I'm talking about that think that, probably, they are believers. I mean, they're supposed to be witnessing. They call themselves they got all different kinds of titles, like pastors and prayer warriors and prayer team leaders and all those kinds of things. They haven't once looked in none of the evidence. They refuse, but they want me to be committed. And they want me to shut up. Like, why? Why would you need me to stop talking and reading the word? I mean, seriously? And you're believers? You guys run a church? And I'm not just beating on them. This is the whole world. The whole world will refuse this message. There's going to be some that won't. They'll be lovingly committed ones. As Abba willing, I'm staying as lovingly committed as I possibly can. I don't care where they have me committed to. I'm staying in the place he placed his name till Dad comes home. And there ain't nothing that anybody can do about it except for him. I'm staying and doing what he's told me to do. And that's what Messiah would have done. That's what he did. And I'm going to show you that right now. Verse of the day. Mark 11:24. Quinky dink. I think not. Because of this, I say to you, whatever you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. Context. And when they came near Yerushalayim, boom, to Bethphage and Beth Anya at the Mount of Olives, he sent out 2 of his taught ones and said to them, go into the village opposite you, and immediately entering into it, you shall find a colt tied on which no one has sat. Loosen it and bring it. And if anyone says to you, why are you doing this? Say, the master needs it and shall send it back straightway. So they went away and found the colt tied by the door outside on the street, and they loosened it. And some of those standing there said to them, what are you doing, loosening the colt? And they said to them, as Yahusha had said, so they let them go. And they brought the colt to Yahusha and threw their garments on it, and he sat on it. And many spread their garments on the way, and others were cutting down branches from the trees and were spreading them on the way. And those going before and those following cried out, saying, Hosanna. I can't pronounce that word, I think this is the Hebrew. I know all of us are pretty familiar with the word Hosanna. That means the same thing as Hoshiana is, it means the same thing. But whether the saying is incorrect, I don't know. So I'm just going to say Hosanna. They cried out saying, Hosanna. Blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. Blessed is the coming reign of our father David in the name of Yahuwah. Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna means, and I think I got the definition here for you. Hosanna means salvation, save, come. Okay, so look. You're probably well familiar with this story. Well, if any of you deny the truth that I've been sharing with you, that means you would deny what we're reading about right now. The Messiah went into the city and made a big deal about it. Got the colt. They threw down branches and garments and aimed him, and so he could go into the city. This is what we do. Do you understand? And you have a problem with that. You got a problem with it. And like I said, if anybody's saying right now, no, I don't have a problem with that, but you're saying Jerusalem is the image of the beast, that's the city. Okay, if that's what you're saying, then you best get there then, right? On those days, you best get over there. Go. But like I always say, heads up though, you best want to do your homework. That's the image of the beast. You'll only be burying yourself all the more if you do that. And if you don't believe that, check the mountain of overwhelming, confirming evidence that I've put forth, and I'll show you again if you ever want me to. I got lots of it, lots. And I got lots of evidence that this is the true place. Not just in history books and all that stuff. I'm talking about scripture. So, anytime, any place, I'd love to. This is what it's all about, what we're reading about right here. The reason he got on the colt, on the donkey, is because that's the lowliest of vehicles. So that just goes to show you, if you're someone that ain't got a car, if you got to crawl, and I'm not joking, if you got to crawl over the Rockies, the 14ers, do it. Get to Jerusalem on the appointed times. Be there. However you got to do it. And those going before and those following cried out, saying, Hosanna, blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. Who is coming? Where was he coming to? He was coming to the city of Jerusalem for Passover. He was, and it said that he was coming in the reign of David, our father David. David had a reign, a kingdom, setting in Jerusalem. It was an actual kingdom. This ain't no fairy tale fantasy that the world is used to. This is reality. That is an actual place, and that's where we are actually to return. If we're committed. If you can find it within yourself to be lovingly committed to the Most High, the one you serve, the one you proclaim to the world that you serve. And Yahushua went into Jerusalem and into the set-apart place, and having looked around on all, he went out to Bethania with the 12, as the hour was already late. And on the next day, when they had come out of Bethania, he was hungry. And seeing it at a distance, a fig tree having leaves, he went to see whether he would find any fruit on it. And don't forget, don't get to thinking for 1 second that not a word, don't think for a second that one word in what we're reading isn't necessary, maximum, and the most necessary thing that you've ever seen. All these words. Every word is always necessary. The reason he's saying and doing what he's doing is for a reason, and you need to think about it. You need to read it and understand why it's happening, why it's being said. So he went to see if there was any fruit on it. And you know, the Most High often says that he's going to come and check, and whatever fruit, Messiah's told us, whatever tree doesn't bear good fruit is getting cut down, hewn down, and thrown into the fire. Thrown into the fire. He came to this fig tree, and there was nothing on it but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. And Yahushua responding said to it, let no one eat fruit from among you ever again. And his taught ones heard it. So look, he cursed this tree because there was no fruit on it. So he did just like he's doing right now in the Word. He's the Word. And the fig tree represents the family, the vine, and it branches out from Jerusalem, and that's our home. That's where we return on the appointed times. The reason you're reading about this fig tree was because of what we just read about him going into Jerusalem on the donkey. This is telling you, just like I said, chapter 14 is summed up what we got to do. It all does. It's all telling us what we got to do. It's screaming from the firmament, telling you what you have to do. If you can't come home, you are like that fig tree right there. If you don't provide any fruit, and that fruit is, there is no fruit without Jerusalem, without our inheritance, without following the Messiah, the Lamb, doing what he did. That means getting on a donkey, however you got to get into Jerusalem for the Passover. Because that's what the Most High desires. He desires us to come home to where our father David reigned, to where Messiah, that's Messiah's home. That's our home. And the world, they're so drunk off of this new wine that is going to fail. It's failing. It's already failed to me. It's dead on arrival now. The Messiah, his whole mission was to do what I've been talking about. And we all are supposed to do what he did, follow after him, imitate him. And they came to Jerusalem. Yahusha, entering into the set-apart place, began to drive out those who bought and sold in the set-apart place, and overturn the tables of the money changers and the seats of those selling doves. All words are all necessary. Don't forget it. This is a picture. This is if you want to say foreshadow, I don't know, because I don't know a better term, but this is a foreshadowing of what it would happen in the end, about coming home, about the city, Jerusalem, and our inheritance. Right now, the world refuses that, and it's the same thing with the merchandise, the gold and the silver, that's talked about in Revelations and throughout the prophets. This is what the world thinks of the house of the Most High right now. And they don't care as long as they make the bacon, as long as they're making those ends every week, and they got their paneled houses, and wherever they are, they don't care nothing about the Most High's house. And he did not allow anyone to carry a vessel through the set-apart place. So he flipped out, and he done what he's doing right now. He's the Word. He's the truth. He's the Lamb. He's destroying. And all it takes to avoid that is just to do what the Lamb did. Come home. Do what he did. And he was teaching to them, saying to them, has it not been written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations, but you have made it a den of robbers? And the scribes and the chief priests heard it, and they were seeking how to destroy him, for they feared him, because all the crowd was astonished at his teaching. And when evening came, he went out of the city. And in the morning, passing by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. Then Kepha remembered, said to him, Rabbi, look, the fig tree which you cursed has withered. And Yahusha answering said to them, have belief in the mighty Most High. Have belief. If you can't go look at the truth, because I don't know, whatever strange reason that you have, because you think that it's going to be blasphemous, or it's like you're coming against him or something. Have belief in him. If you're standing on such a firm foundation over there and you got nothing to worry about, you've got nothing to worry about, do you? Have belief in the Most High. Know that you're walking in the Ruach HaKodesh, and that none of that evidence scares you. Actually, you would think that if you love someone like me that's saying something like this that you are in opposition to, you would think you would show some love and come reason with me about it and look at some of the evidence. But you see, by you denying to come examine this, it proves that you're not lovingly committed. It proves that you're not standing on a firm foundation, that you're worried about where you're standing right now, which is not good. You must believe. You think I should be committed? Probably. I mean, who knows what these people think about what I'm saying? But the Most High told me how the world would respond to what I'm saying. Same way they responded to what Messiah said. Just like him saying right here, for truly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be thrown into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says, it shall be done. He shall have whatever he says. That's a mountain, the image of the beast. It's a mountain, I agree. But it's not like you have to crawl over it, really. Because as long as you believe, you can walk right up to it and say, poof, be gone. And it'll be gone. And you can come home. You have the power within you to do this. If you can't examine the evidence, you got no power. Whoever says to be removed and thrown into the sea and does not doubt in his heart, but believes what he says shall be done, he shall have whatever he says. Because of this, I say to you, whatever you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. And whenever you stand praying, if you hold whatever against anyone, forgive, so that your Father in the heavens shall also forgive you for your trespasses. But if you do not forgive, neither shall the Father forgive you, for the Father in heaven forgive your trespasses. And they came again to Jerusalem, and he was walking in a set-apart place. The chief priests and the scribes and the elders came to him. Look, I'm not going to read any more of this. We can, but you can clearly see, you should clearly see what was on Messiah's mind and what he wanted to do. It's exactly what I'm doing and what I'm trying to get you to do. And if you have a problem with that, you got a problem with what Messiah did. And that's just the facts. There should be no reason you can't look at this evidence. Now, before we read Nahum chapter 1. Before we read that, let me go show you what I got here for you with this boat and this bridge collapsing. The Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now, I heard a guy, the Gematria guy, today, like in the afternoon. I caught just a few minutes, not even like a minute of something he was saying, and he said that the reason, or no, it wasn't him, it was the Manny Fisher guy, and he said that the reason that bridge was hit was because it was 69, and I know that 95 runs all the way up through there. I've been up and down 95, but the reason it's called 695. And then if you look at some of the other highways, it goes 694, 695, all the way up to 670, or to 700, to 700. So there is a reason that's number 69. And I want to show you something on IPEC Go 2 that could possibly be proof that that was a sign, that bridge falling down today, that was orchestrated. And once you see some of this evidence I got to show you, you'll probably be thinking the same thing, just like I am, that it probably was. Because look, it's named the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And Francis Scott Key is the guy that wrote the Star Spangled Banner. And he wrote that when, down here, it says, I'll just read the whole thing. The Star Spangled Banner is the national anthem in the U.S. The lyrics come from the defense of Fort McHenry, a poem written on September 4th, 1814 by 35-year-old lawyer and amateur poet Francis Scott Key after witnessing the bombardment of Fort McHenry by British ships of the Royal Navy in outer Baltimore Harbor in the Patapsco River during the Battle of Baltimore in the War of 1812. Okay? Now, if you've been paying attention, we just talked about this eclipse that came in 1812, right around the time the New Madrid went crazy. And there was a comet in the sky, just like the one that's going to be in the sky during the eclipse, or I guess it's in the sky right now. That was in 1812. So the Star Spangled Banner was written in 1814, but he was inspired, this guy, from what he saw in 1812 in the battle of Baltimore. And I just thought this one part right here was funny, so I figured I'd show you that it ends. That road ends. It says, oops. So the route continues to suburban, 695 continues to suburban neighborhoods before coming to an interchange with MD44. No, 144. Don't end there, I guess. But I thought that was funny. But okay, so the bridge is called the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And it's named after the guy who wrote the Star Spangled Banner. He wrote it because of what he saw in 1812, when them eclipses happened. And the boat that hit the bridge was named something Dolly. Let me look real quick. Hold on. Right here. The MV Dolly. I got to fix my line. The MV Dolly. So that Dolly guy, he painted this painting. Let me show you what I found with my magnifying glass here. He was famous for this painting called The Persistence of Memory. This was one of his. And I got looking at this. And this is what he was famous for. This painting, The Persistence of Memory. And I mean, the landscape fits for sure. And I got looking down here, that looks like a person under that covering, doesn't it? Like it's a blanket, but it kind of looks like a duck. I don't know. But that looks like a person right there. And I read somewhere, I don't think I got that picture, but I read somewhere where they said the same thing to other people. And it's like known. He called it the creature or something like that. But it's under a covering, and these clocks are melted. Time. And that's what's happened to us. Is it's been so long since we did that which is continual, because we lost our home, and we lost all that salvation, all that power and promise. And it ended up coming down, third and fourth generations and on, because of all the sin, because of all the Babylonian nonsense, and because we refused to come home. We got kicked out for so many years, 430 years. So, and the clocks, like this clock here, it looks like it's aiming, it's almost 6 o'clock, right? Because the arrow's aiming down, this one on the left. This one. The clock's aiming down at 6 right there. And then this one is aiming at 6 because the arrow's going straight down right there. See it? It's aiming at 6. And you can't see this one, but my guess is it's aiming at 6 too. 666 would be my guess. So he painted that, and he painted this. This is called the Hawaiian, or the garden. It's crazy. Hold on. Bear with me. One of them's called the Haywain Triptych, and it's about the Garden of Eden and everything, and the Last Judgment. It's called, often portraying Eden and the Last Judgment. And he said it was going to be an altar piece or something, but let's look at this for a second. Let me show you what's going on here. You can clearly see that this left side, this is the reason he called it triptych is because it's the third earth. This is what he's showing on the left here, the garden. See like the man and woman down here, and that's supposed to be God, I guess, or whatever. And then another one of these paintings like this, you can see the snake, half man, half snake wrapped around the tree, and then the woman picking the apple from the tree. So it's the garden. And then and look how it looks like there's this building looking thing on the water, and the way everything like looks peaceful. And then you get over here to the middle, and you can see that this is what's been going on right now. Like this is just chaos. And they got all different kinds of buildings around, not just the one over here, because there was one, you see. Now there's all kinds of them, and there's all different kinds of crazy stuff going on, just, running rampant, and all the animals are looking, watching, like, what the heck is going on? And you see all this, crazy stuff. And there's one right there where somebody's picking an apple from the tree. Let me get my phone plugged in here. And then there's this one. This is what I want you to notice. And then there's another painting by him that's showing the same thing. I want you to just look at this for a minute. Well, the first thing I seen was this, why ain't it zooming in? Was this woman right here. I guess I can't zoom in any more than that. Let me see if you can see it. See that woman's face? I noticed that. So that's a woman. She's tore in half right here, and she's looking back. And then there's a pair of ears that's got a knife that's getting ready to cut this heart that they got up on top of her head. Okay. Now let's look down here. You can't, this is blurry, man. I wish I had a clearer picture, but you can see down here, this frog guy right here, he's blue, and he's eating another leg. He's eating a person's leg right here. Go look at this. I'm sorry that my camera is blurry. The picture ended up being blurry. I can't go to Google right now because it'd mute my mic, and it would ruin this whole video. But there's a blue frog up there eating the leg of like a person. And you see down here below him, it's like he's put that blue ball, he's pooping another person out. And you can see that like there's a guy on a boat back here that's throwing up. He's on the boat, like throwing up, puking, everyone's sick. And then below where that guy is getting pooped out of that blue frog down there, there's people down there puking and that. And then look at this rabbit guy right here. There's a rabbit with a spear, and he's aiming it right down here at this nun-looking character. Let me see if this other picture is is clear. But before I leave though, there's just, you should be able to see just right now, without it being any clearer than that, what's going on. Like, all the archers, all the fighting men down here, they're down here slain, and that woman's cut in half. The ears are cutting the heart, and it's just chaos. It's Sheol. It's what the enemy has created. And it came from all the multiple houses. On the left was the garden, and there was one, right? And here's this is this other one. This is the Hay Wain triptych. I think I can zoom in here now. Now notice this one. See, on the left, there's the garden. And this is who that boat's named after, okay? And we already seen that the bridge, it's called the Key Bridge, named after the guy that wrote the Star Spangled Banner in 1812. Or from 1812 and 1814. But you can see this is the garden, and there must be like God up there. And look, the heavens coming down. Notice there's like angels coming down from heaven on this one. And here looks like Adam and Eve, and there's the serpent giving them the fruit. And then up here in the next one, you can see that it's chaos down here. It ain't like back over here where it was peaceful. It's chaos. And there's a ladder there, and for some reason there's wheels on this rock, which shows you that they've moved the rock of your stronghold. And there's people trying to climb up to where someone looks like he's in harmony, maybe David playing an instrument sitting there, and an angel's looking up at what is probably supposed to be the Most High, like begging, like please. And there's no more angels coming down like there was on this first painting. And this one's called like the Garden of Eden, this one's something else, and then the Last Judgment is over here. And you can see the house is burning down. The house is burning down, and you can see that this looks like a torture device right here, but they're using it to construct this house, this tower right here, which makes sense. And look at the color of the guys. Go back and look at the other painting. It's the same thing. All the bad guys are blue and white. Frog, look at that blue and white frog down there swallowing some person. This is right on time. That, if you remember, when some key things started here not too long ago, was it last year? Yeah. Right when I first came to Jerusalem, I think is when it was, is when that bridge in Philadelphia fell. And at that time, it showed us all that stuff about brotherly love and about Philadelphia, all that stuff, and about the stones, the cornerstone and the stone with your name on it, and the Key of David, what the Key of David is, and what it means, what he's talking about by don't let no one take your crown. Like, you know how many people say that every day? That they say, don't let no one take your crown, and they say they're kings and queens in their crowns. If they never come to Jerusalem, they weren't. They could be. They will be if they come home. But you have to. You have to want to be a part of that kingdom. If you live in Chattanooga, Tennessee, you can think you have a crown on your head. You're never going to be the king of Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's not going to have a kingdom. The only kingdom that will exist is Yasharal, Yehuda, Yerushalayim, Yehuda. So it sure is odd. Here's a little clearer picture, I guess, right here. It sure is odd that, and look, the drum, they're playing this drum down here, and there's scales on that thing. It's like a device, and the blue and white drum, they're playing their own music. And this depicts exactly, this guy knew what I'm talking about. That's why that first picture looks just like Utah and the Dead Sea. The time and the covering, one person hiding under the covering. This guy knew what time it was, and he knew when to come home, and that you got to come home. And I think that's all the information. Oh, here's the definition of Hosanna. Means to save. Oh, save now. So, oh, save Jerusalem. That's what it was about. And you can't, are you going to sit and tell me that it wasn't? Are you going to tell me that's not true? That's not an accurate statement, what I just said? That when they were saying Hosanna, they were saying, oh, come and save us, meaning us who live in Jerusalem, who Jerusalem is our home. Come save us. We want to have our Passover and Feast of Tabernacles, all that stuff, and that's what we want, with rest and peace and sovereignty. Yes. So that's what this is about. And the world, they don't want nothing to do with that. And if they do, they'll say, well, no, because they'll say that it's over there, but they won't go look at the evidence. They're not lovingly committed. They're committed to having someone that's lovingly committed to the Most High, committed to an insane asylum. All right, now let's get Nahum chapter 2. We read chapter 1 last video, and let's just see. I'm willing to step out here with you on a limb. Let's just see if it's going to either confirm what I've been saying, or if it's going to contradict what I've been saying. What do you think? You think it's going to contradict, or you think it's going to agree? Let's see. He who breaks in pieces has come up before your face. Guard the ramparts. Watch the way. Strengthen your loins. Fortify your power very much. Just verse 1 can tell you everything you need to know, if you really want to know. But you got to really want to know. Guard the ramparts to your city. Watch the way to your city, the way of the Lamb, that which is continual. Strengthen your loins. Remember? We've been reading that your loins has everything to do with the city. It says that their loins shake continually. Wink, wink. If you're in the house on the days you come in and you come out, you're blessed. You're never cut off. Your loins are strengthened. You're in that promise that was promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You're a part of that. If you're not in Jerusalem, you're not a part of that. And the more, it doesn't matter how much you say you are a part of it. It doesn't matter. It just makes it worse. The more you say that you're going to be a part of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or that you are, but you don't want nothing to do with Jerusalem, it makes the fact that you're not Jerusalem all that much more evident, because you're just wanting someone to believe that you are. Fortify your power very much. That's how you do it. That's the only way. You ain't Superman or Superwoman. The only way you can fortify your power is when you put your head down and you follow the rules. And if you watched the last video, what'd you think about that trailer for Huxley? Then that movie Huxley. What'd you think about what they said in that trailer that I played in the last video? It said exactly what I'm saying right now. It said that there's safety in the city, and that following the rules, keeping your head down, going to the city is the only way that you can find order out of all this chaos, the only way you're going to live. And at the very end, you hear a woman say, "Find me, Huxley, when you wake up." I hope that that those of you who see this stop denying in this truth, and you start believing in the Most High, and you do that which is continual. You come in and you receive this blessing that's unlike anything you could imagine, unlike anything that you've ever heard about. I guarantee you, it's like blessing David got back in the day, those type of people. But we're in the end time, so it's going to be even greater than that. And it's right here for you. For Yahuwah shall turn back the splendor of Jacob like the splendor of Yasharal, for the emptiers have emptied them out and ruined their vine branches. The shields of his mighty men have become red. The shields. The shields are faith. The shields represents faith, according to the Most High. Your faith. The faith of the mighty men has become red. Red represents blood. That's what's going on right now. The faith of people, quote unquote, is causing the world to die. It's the wine press being trodden down outside the city. The men of battle are in scarlet. The chariots are like flaming torches in the day of his preparation, and the cypress shall be shaken. The chariots dash about in the streets. They rush one another in the broad ways. The chariots. That's all these churches and denominations and beliefs and ideas. Everything that isn't an idea of going home. If it's any kind of denomination or belief or whatever that has anything to do with avoiding coming to Jerusalem on the set apart days, on the appointed times, it's those chariots. That's what it's talking about. Those chariots, those horses, they run around, back and forth, dash in the broad ways. They look like flaming torches. They run like lightning. They look like flaming torches. The world goes to it. Oh, they go there and they want to get healed. They want to find Jesus. Whatever they're doing. He remembers his noble ones. They stumble in their walk. They hurry to her walls, and the defense is prepared. Boom. The river gates have been opened, and the palace is melted. And it is established. She shall be exiled, she shall be led away, and her female servants are moaning as with the voice of doves beating on their breast. And Nineveh of old was like a pool of water. Now they flee away. Stop, stop, they cry, but no one turns back. Plunder the silver, plunder the gold. There is no limit to the treasure, a wealth of all precious objects. Those money changers. She is empty, even emptiness and waste, and the heart has melted. And the knees have knocked together, and much pain is on all loins, and all their faces have become flushed. That's what's happening right now. Where is the den of the lions, and the feeding place of the young lions, where the lion, the lioness, and the lion's cub walked, with no one to disturb them? Boom. Where is it? I found it. It's right here. The lion tore in pieces enough for his cubs and strangled for his lionesses, and filled his caves with prey and his dens with torn prey. See, I am against you, declares Yahuwah of hosts, and I shall burn your chariots in smoke, and the sword devour your young lions. And I shall cut off your prey from the earth, and no longer is the voice of your messengers heard. Woe to the city of blood. All of it is a lie. It's a lie. All of it. Its location, its return, its doctrine, its people, its origins, its beliefs, its motivations, its agenda, its righteousness. It's all a lie. It's filled with plunder. The prey is not lacking. The whole world's being consumed. Muslims, Christians, Buddhas, All the people. All of them. And it's because no one's ever took the time to look. No one's ever got on the colt and went back into Jerusalem. No one cares. They've stumbled in their walk. And that's not the Most High's fault, because look at the word we read every time I get on here. Every time I rock this mic, I've been rocking it right. It's the prophets every time. I've been reading all the word, but all of it's saying the same thing. There is no excuse. If you don't end up in Jerusalem, you didn't follow the Lamb. It don't matter what you've been saying. It doesn't matter. But the truth of what you had to do was here the whole time. The sound of a whip and the sound of rattling wheels, of galloping horses, of jolting chariots, mounted horsemen with bright sword and glittering spear, and many wounded. There you go. This isn't literal. This is talking about what's going on. This is all that you're reading in verse 3 about the preachers, the denominations, the Catholic churches and colleges and all that stuff. That all say they know the truth, and they're preaching the truth and love and salvation and everything. If it don't bring you to Jerusalem, it's of destruction. It's to destroy you. Many wounded, and a mass of dead bodies, and no end to the corpses. They stumble over the corpses. That's what he's talking about right now. The population of the world, they're dead until they come home, until they realize where their true home is and return and do what the Messiah did. Follow the Lamb. Leave their carpentry behind. Leave your 9 to 5, your businesses, whatever it is, and come get under your dad's wing, because the end is nigh. It's time. Otherwise, you're saying that you're God and you're going to protect yourself. You ain't got to worry about it. You can stay. No, this is how the two ways are being separated. Those who want to live and who know that the Most High knows best, and they're just taking His word for it. They're following the rules. And they're just trusting and believing in Him. They're not questioning Him and believing on their own understanding. Because of the many whorings of the well-favored whore. Boom. Who's the well-favored whore? Who's well-favored? Who is it that these people won't even look into evidence of wrongdoing of? Who is it? The mistress of sorceries, Mystery of sorceries. Where is this? Right here. I showed these pictures long ago, but this is the Kabbalah tree of life on the right. It's the same thing on the left and on the right. And this is all what the Freemasons are about. Them 2 pillars on the side. This is about the 2 towers so they can make one. This is all about transhumanism, transgender. This is the Baphomet. One star, or the star is one triangle, one mountain aiming up, one aiming down. It's called a hexagram, or in Latin, it's called a sexagram. The 6-pointed star, it represents 666. It represents the union between man and woman, and it represents the union between man and the Most High. What this tree and that star represents is you becoming God. Just like the serpent taught in the garden. He said, you will not surely die. He knows that if you eat this fruit, you'll be like Him. Your eyes will become open, and you'll be like the Most High. He don't want you to. That's the lie He told him. That's this lie that you're looking at right now. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at that lie that the serpent told Eve in the garden. That's what that represents. And that star represents the joining of the bottom of the tree to the top of the tree. Boom, right there. See that serpent wrapped up around it? You see the balls up here? All these balls right here, right here. See this one, the eclipsing of the top of the tree being combined, I can't think of the word to use, combined with each other. That's what this is all about. That's what this whole, ever since 2017, but the whole world, the whole history, all of history, it's been about this. And that's who you're supporting and you've pledged your allegiance to. And okay, if you say it ain't, if you say that it's not the serpent and the curse and pride, okay, show me. But you can't, can you? You won't do it. You won't show me. But I want to show you, and look, there at the top is the cross. That's what the cross symbolizes. It's the unification between God and man. And that's what Jesus teaches. That's what this world has been taught from Jesus, from Jerusalem. They've been taught, no, I can just be a good person. I'm just going to stay here, be a good person, go to church every Sunday, twice on Sunday, and once on Wednesday, prayer groups, prayer meetings. I'm going to pay my tithes, and I'm going to stay here in my house. I don't need to think about Jerusalem. None of that. The Lamb, I'm covered in the blood of the Lamb. That's what they think. That's what this thing has created, the image of the beast, the mark of the beast. It's created all that. But there was this one thing in I Pet Goat 2 that I never could figure out what it was. And I seen it here. If I can find my damn pictures here. I don't know why. Right here. I seen this the other day, this video, and this is the same symbol right there. See it right there at the bottom of that hermit's foot? And in that, I've talked about this hermit. What we were just talking about, the star, it's the hermeticism or whatever. Inside this hermit's lantern is the six-pointed star. That's his lamp to light his feet. And notice he's standing on the mountains down there. What that symbol is over here on the bottom right, that thing right there, that is the serpent that we were just looking at that goes up around the, what do they call it, the seraphim, whatever it is, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the serpent wrapped around it. That's what it is. That's what that bottom, if I can find it again here, that's what that thing at the bottom of his feet represents. Now let's go watch I Pet Goat 2, and I'll show you the part where it shows that. Now, matter of fact, let's watch a couple seconds of this and watch. It's going to confirm everything I've been saying. Watch. See that? Blue and white guy with the triangle aiming down on a screen, TV screen. And look what he's doing. He's abusing. He's just bullshitting, talking lies, oppression, speaking oppression and captivity onto this child who's named Ludovich, whose name means speaker of righteousness. Boom. Did you see that? The birds that flew away together come up out of that place, and it was the moth to the flame and the Messiah's fingers. He's the Word. The Word is judging you right now. If you can't see that you're worshiping and pledging your allegiance to the image of the beast, you're dead. Bye-bye. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. Until you come home, it's bye-bye for you. Right there. That is what Mark 14's talking about. The lady broke the flash. She gave all she had. And you see it's held up to the mountain. Give all you have to get through those gates to the mountain of the Most High. No matter what. That right there symbolizes What happened here last fall when the star Betelgeuse, it was eclipsed by some other star, and it was in the constellation of Orion, and Orion represents the man of lawlessness, because in his right hand he got a big like club, and where that club is where Betelgeuse eclipsed the constellation of Orion. It was eclipsed or whatever, and it symbolized an eclipse of the power of the strength, because the word is the Most High's right hand, his mighty right hand. Well, the world has been duped by the man of lawlessness, right? The right hand, what did it say? The right hand of lies, and that's why the Messiah right here that you're looking at, that's why his right eye is blackened. He's one-eyed. Right there, I believe that's Ukraine, that's showing us about Ukraine drowning, because that's what's going on right now. So that fit the... Right there, though. 69. The yin yang is Israel. That's what it represents. It's the light and dark. It's duality. I've went through all this and showed all the proof. But the number 69, it's the same thing as a yin yang sign. So that bridge was 695 that fell this morning, right? And it's 69 is why it's called. The reason it's named 695 is so it can be 69. I showed you, or I didn't show you, but if you go look, it's a continuation. It's in between 694, 695, and then it goes all the way up to 700. So it's 69, and this is dissolving. And look at what's taking place in this picture right now. When I push play, watch what's happening as the 69 is dissolving. She's waving a white flag, and she's got the tiger on her back, the year 2024. She's waving a white flag to the tanks that got a green light on them. That's what's happening right now. They're going through the talks about the peace, ceasefire and all this, and it's just a joke. All of it's a joke. And it's a lie, and it's got the whole world hoodwinked into believing something about them. This younger generation sees that they're evil, and they'll believe this. That's why I named that video the other night, No Country for Old Men, because there ain't no older people probably gonna do it. They got a chance because the word's on their lap, but they're not gonna do it because it would mean that all they've been talking about is wrong, and they can't bring themselves to humble themselves to do that. They won't do it. So they're going to continue on with it. Right there. That's the same thing that was at that hermit's feet. What you're looking at right there. This thing. And the Messiah's coming out of it in the boat. And yet that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to come out of all that nonsense. You're going to have to understand that you're not the Most High. You don't call the shots. You're going to have to humble yourself, walk humbly, and just come looking for the truth. And the truth shall set you free. You've got nothing to fear. You don't fear the Most High when it comes to that. Don't be afraid that if you go looking into the truth to see if Israel is the image of the beast, don't fear the Most High and think that he's going to scold you for wanting the truth. He wants to give you the truth. And the truth is, if I'm wrong, I'm a person, I'm a brother, right? If I'm wrong, you should have enough love to come and work this out with me, examine this with me, instead of letting me say all this, right? So one way or the other, you got something you got to do. You need to walk humbly either way. But you got to come to Jerusalem, to the place he placed his name.
In particular, it doesn't include a complete...
So you should see that iPet Goat 2 has been confirmed. It's been playing out right on time, but no one realizes it. Even all the people who sit and break that cartoon down, they ain't got no clue what it's really talking about. And that makes me sad. That's why I'm part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, is to get this truth out there. And I hope that you assist me if you can. Hit the thumbs up, like the video, share it, and subscribe. Not for my sake, but for your sake. She is the mistress of sorceries. That's why that star is on her flag. It's a hexagram. You put hexes on people. That's what this is. That's what those paintings represented that we were looking at. That's what hell looks like. You've been lied to. You had a hex put on you. Who sells nations by her whorings. That's what she does. And clans by her sorceries. See, I am against you, declares Yahuwah of hosts, and shall lift up your skirts over your face. That's what's happening. That's what iPet Goat 2 said would happen. When it shows the woman in there naked. And shall show nations your nakedness and reigns your shame. That's what's happening right now. That's how you can know this is the end. This is what's going on. And I shall cast abominations upon you and treat you as foolish and make a spectacle of you. And it shall be that all who see you flee from you and say, Nineveh is laid waste. Who does mourn for her? Where do I seek comforters for you? And don't get it twisted. Just because it says Nineveh, that don't prove anything of your point. The reason you're seeing Nineveh all along the lines of totality, because that's what's happening. Nineveh, Israel, and America, they're the same, two wings of the same bird. They're the same entity. It's all the same. It's the Kasdim, the Chaldeans, it's the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, all them people. They've made all these things. When he says Nineveh, don't box the Most High in. He knows what he's talking about. Are you better than No Ammon, who dwelt by the Nile streams, with waters around her, whose rampart was like the sea, whose wall was like the sea? Cush and Mitzrayim were her strength, and even unlimited. Put and Lubim were your helpers, yet she was exiled. She went into captivity. At the head of every street, her young children were dashed to pieces. Boom. What do you think? He's not talking about literal children being dashed to pieces literally at the head of every street. At the head of every street, that lets you know he's talking about the divination, the parting of two ways, the divination at the gate. All the children are being dashed to pieces at the head of every street because they've been given wrong directions. They're saying this is the place over here. You don't have to go back to the true place. Lots were cast for her esteemed men, and all her great men were bound in chains. All them preachers. You too are to become drunk. You are to go into hiding. You too are to seek refuge from the enemy. All your strongholds are fig trees with ripened figs. When shaken, they shall fall into the mouth of the eater. See, your people in your midst are women. The gates of your land shall be opened wide to your enemies. Fire shall consume your gate bars. Draw for yourself water for the siege. Strengthen your defenses. Go into the clay and tread the mortar. Lay hold of the brick mold. There a fire shall consume you. A sword cut you off. Eat you up like a locust. Make yourself many like the locust. Make yourself many like the swarming locust. You have increased your merchants more than the stars of the heavens. The locust ship shall strip off and fly away. Your officials are like the locust, and your marshals are like the great grasshoppers, which settle in the hedges on a cold day. When the sun rises, they flee away. The sun is rising right now. This truth about where your home is. And the place where they are is unknown. Your shepherds have slumbered, O sovereign of Ashur. Your nobles lie down to rest. Your people are scattered on the mountains, and no one gathers them. Your injury has no healing. Your wound is grievous. All who hear news of you shall clap their hands over you, for whom For over whom did your evil not pass continually? Boom. That the wound of Israel, it's grievous. It's never going to heal because it's the image of the beast. It's fake. For over whom did your evil not pass continually? Boom. Passover. The evil of you not coming to the true Yerushalayim continually. Now, just to prove another point, I'm going to read one chapter of Habakkuk. Let's see if it confirms what I've been saying. The message which the prophet Habakkuk saw on, O Yahuwah, till when shall I cry and you not hear? I cry to you violence and you do not save. Why do you show me wickedness and cause me to see perversity? For ruin and violence are before me, and there is strife and contention arises. Therefore the Torah ceases, and right ruling never goes forth. For the wrong hem in the righteous, so that right ruling comes out twisted. Look among the nations and see and be amazed. Be amazed, for a work is being wrought in your days, which you would not believe it if it were told. Boom. I believe it. And I'm telling you, do you believe it? You best believe. See, I am raising up the Kasdim, the Chaldeans, a bitter and hasty nation, who is going through the breadth of the earth to possess dwelling places that are not theirs. Boom. The colonizers. They are frightening and fearsome. Their right ruling and their exaltation proceed from themselves. Boom. Just what I was showing you about the star and the tree. That's what he's talking about right here. Their exaltation, their right ruling proceed from themselves. They teach that if you're the best person you can be and you're not a goyim, you can become divine God. They have built their own tower. It's just like the Tower of Babylon. That's what they're doing right now. Their horses shall be swifter than leopards, and more fierce than evening wolves, and their horsemen shall charge ahead, and their horsemen come from afar. They fly as the eagle rushing to eat. And their horsemen, they're all of it. The Muslims, the Catholics, the Judaism, Christianity, atheism, all of it comes from them. From the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It all comes from the same thing. And Babylon. All of them come for violence. The direction of their faces is like the east wind. Boom. And they gather captives like sand. Why would their faces be like the east wind? And they scoff at sovereigns, and princes are a laughing matter to them. They laugh at every stronghold, for they pile up earth and seize it. Then shall he pass on as a wind and transgress and be guilty and ascribe this power to his mighty one. Ascribe that power to his mighty one. Hail Zeus, Jesus. Yes, man of lawlessness. That's who they're ascribing their power to. That power, that strength that we have when we come home. They're trying to make their own. Are you not from everlasting, O Yahuwah, my mighty most high, my set apart one? You do not die, O Yahuwah. You have appointed them for right ruling. Appointed what for right ruling? He doesn't, he's not playing. All words are all necessary. He appointed the days of appointment for right ruling. That's right ruling. That's not all right ruling. That you don't just get to be declared right just because you come home. No, but you can't be declared right if you exclude coming home. You see how that works? Oh, rock. That's our rock. The Most High is our rock. He's a stronghold right now. You have established them for reproof. He established the appointed times for reproof. This is the splitting of the two ways. You either come home and live, or you don't and you die. Plain and simple. You, whose eyes are too clean to see evil. Ooh, that sounds familiar, huh? You are not able to look on wrong. Why do you look on those who act treacherously? Keep silent when the wrong devours one more righteous than he. Why do you do that? Just let that happen. And would you make men like fish of the sea, like creeping creatures that have no ruler over them? The wicked, like that painting, the wicked foe has pulled all of them up with a hook, caught them in his net, and gathers them in his dragnet. Therefore he rejoices and exalts. That's that imposture, that trap, that snare, the bait. Therefore he slaughters to his net and burns incense to his dragnet, for by them is his portion fat and his food is rich. Is he therefore to keep on emptying his net and killing nations without sparing? That's what he's doing right now. I stand at my watch and station myself on the watchtower and wait to see what he says to me and what to answer when I am reproved. When I am reproved. And Yahuwah answered me and said, write the vision and inscribe it on tablets so that he who reads it runs. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, and it speaks of the end and does not lie. Boom. If it lingers, wait for it shall certainly come. It shall not delay. Wait for it, meaning be at the house. Just wait. Don't worry about anything else. All you got to do is come to the house at the appointed times. And if it lingers a little bit, don't worry, just wait, just be there. That's all you got to do. See, he whose being is not upright in him is puffed up, but the righteous one lives by his steadfastness. That's how you live. Just go to the house. Do what you're supposed to do. Follow the Lamb. And also, because wine betrays him, a man is proud and he does not stay at home. Boom. See how Abba has my back like that? It's because I've been reading his word, and I ain't going to stop. You should try it. Because he enlarges his appetite as Sheol, and he is like death and is not satisfied, and gathers to himself all nations and heaps up for himself all peoples. That's what's happening. Shall not all these lift up a proverb against him and a mocking riddle against him, and say, woe to him who increases what is not his? Wink, wink. Hint, hint. Till when is he is to load on himself many pledges? Wink, wink. Do not your creditors rise up suddenly, and those who make you tremble wake up, and you be plunder for them? Because you have plundered many nations, all the remnant of the people shall plunder you because of men's blood and doing violence to the land, to the city, and to all who dwell in it. Boom. Woe to him who is getting evil gain for his house in order to set his nest on high, to escape the clutches of evil. You have counseled shame for your house, to cut off many peoples, and your being is sinning. For a stone from the wall cries out, and a beam from the timbers answers it. Woe to him who builds a town by blood and establishes a city by unrighteousness. See, it is not from Yahuwah of hosts that peoples labor only for fire. It's not of him for you to build that city and labor for that city. It's for fire. And nations weary themselves for nothing. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the esteem of Yahuwah as the waters cover the sea. Torah, coming home, doing what the Lamb did. Woe to him who gives drink to his neighbor, pouring out your wineskin and also making him drunk in order to look on their nakedness. If you ain't coming home, that's nakedness. That's all these people are just naked and they're showing each other's nakedness. You shall be filled with the shame instead of esteem. Drink, you too, and be exposed as uncircumcised. The cup of the right hand of Yahuwah shall come around to you in great shame upon your esteem. For the violence done to Lebanon is to overwhelm you. The violence done to here, to where I'm at. And the ravaging of beast by which you made them afraid, because of men's blood and the violence to the land, to the city, and all who dwell in it. Of what use shall a carved image be? Wink, wink. That's the city. For its maker has carved it, a molded image and teacher of falsehood. For the maker trusts what he has made to make dumb idols. Woe to him who says to wood, awake, to silent stone, arise. Is it a teacher? See, it is overlaid with gold and silver, and there is no spirit at all inside of it. It's overlaid with gold and silver. You just think it's eye candy to you. You just believed it, hook, line, sinker, like you did the moon landing. You seen it on the TV, and you just assumed that they wouldn't lie to you. You just said, there are good people in the world. They wouldn't lie to me like this. I'm not being duped right now and suckered. But Yahuwah is in his set apart Hakal. Let all the earth be silent before him. The reason he said, doesn't it seem kind of random if he's not talking about an imposter city, an imposter Hakal? The Hakal is the slaughter place. It's where it's in the city of Yerushalayim. The Hakal is, and that's where you're supposed to come to. It wouldn't make no sense if he wasn't talking about a city and just all of a sudden he's talking about a carved image, and all of a sudden he says, but he's in his Hakal, set apart Hakal. And you can find it, but you ain't never going to find it if you don't open the Word. You don't start looking at all this mounting evidence. But you think you found it already. Exactly what that tree set out to accomplish. It set out to destroy you, to have you thinking that you could call the shots. You're dead wrong.